Chapter 1 of Smugglers Reef by John Blaine. This is a LibriVox recording. All LibriVox recordings are in the public domain. For more information or to volunteer, please visit LibriVox.org. Read by Matt Pierard. Chapter 1 Night Assignment. Adventure, Brant said, is kind of hard to define, because what may be adventure to one person may be commonplace to another. He took a bite of cake and stretched his long legs comfortably. Now, you take flying with Scotty. That's the most adventurous thing I do. Mr. and Mrs. Brant and Jerry Webster looked at Don Scott, the object of Rick's jibe, and waited for his reply. Verbal warfare between the two boys was a usual feature of the evening discussions on the big front porch of the Brant home on Spindrift Island. Scotty, a husky, dark-haired boy, grinned lazily. "You've proved your own point," he returned. "Flying with me is adventure to you, but safe travel to anyone else. I'd say the most adventurous thing you do is drive a car." Mrs. Brant, an attractive, motherly woman, poured another cup of coffee for Jerry Webster. The young reporter had started the discussion by stating wistfully that he wished he could share in some of the Brant adventures. "Why do you call Rick's driving adventurous?" "The dictionary says so," Scotty replied. "One definition of adventure is a remarkable experience." Hartson Brant, Rick's scientist father, grinned companionably at his son. "I agree with Scotty. Not only is Rick's driving a remarkable experience, but it fits the rest of the definition. The encountering of risks, hazardous enterprise." Jerry Webster rose to Rick's defense. "Oh, I don't know. Rick always gets there." "Sure he does," Scotty agreed. "Of course his passengers always have nervous breakdowns, but he gets there." Rick just grinned. He felt wonderful tonight. When he came right down to it, there was nothing that matched being at home with the family in the big house on Spindrift Island. The famous island off the New Jersey coast was home for the scientific foundation that his father headed, and for the scientist members. It was home for Scotty, too, and had been since the day he had rescued Rick from danger, as told in The Rocket's Shadow. As junior members of the foundation, Rick and Scotty had been included in a number of experiments and expeditions. Rick wouldn't have missed a one of them, and if opportunity offered, he would go again with just as much eagerness. But it was nice to return to familiar surroundings between trips. More than once, during lonely nights in far places, his thoughts had turned to evenings just like this one, with a family, and perhaps a close friend like Jerry gathered on the porch after dinner. Rick, Scotty, and Barbara Brant had only recently returned from the South Pacific, where they had vacationed aboard the trawler Tarpon, and had solved the mystery of the Phantom Shark. Barby had gone off to summer boarding school in Connecticut a few days later. Chahda, the Hindu boy who had been with the Brants since the Tibetan radar relay expedition described in The Lost City, had said goodbye to the group at New Caledonia and had returned to India. The scientists, Zircon, Weiss, and Gordon, were away doing research. Suddenly Rick chuckled. "Speaking of adventure, I'll bet the biggest adventure Barby had on our whole trip to the Pacific was eating rosette sauté at the governor's in Noumea." "What's that?" Jerry asked. "Bat," Scotty replied. "A very large kind of fruit bat. Barby thought it was wonderful until she found out what it was." "I should think so!" Mrs. Brant exclaimed. "It tasted good," Rick said. "Something like chicken livers." He grinned. "Anyway, I sympathized with Barby. I felt kind of funny myself when I found out what it was." Hartson Brant, an older edition of his athletic son, looked at the boy reflectively. He knocked ashes from his pipe. "Seems to me you've been pretty quiet since you got back, Rick. Lost your taste for excitement? Or are you working on something?" "Working," Rick said. "We scientists must never rest. We
Sample complete. Ready to continue?